Let's take a look at a little distribution business here, Midwest Office Products. We're going to use this case as an opportunity to apply the techniques of time-based, activity-based costing, time-based ABC, from the Kaplan article, The Reading of the Same Name. Now, before we get into the details of how to work with the calculations in time-based ABC, let's stop and look at the context here. What is Midwest Office Products? As the case describes it, it's an office products warehouse. So we should be asking, well, what is it that they do? And I'm going to propose that we use a very simple value chain to get a sense for what's going on within Midwest Office Products. I'm going to zoom in on this slide, have it fill the whole screen, so that you can see at a very high level what Midwest essentially is doing is first, they're receiving incoming office supplies and they're storing them. That's the receiving and warehousing process in the value chain. The next thing that happens within Midwest is they take and enter customer orders. So they've got the items in the warehouse, now they've got an order, which brings us to the third part, or downstream part, of their value chain, and that's distributing or shipping the products to their customers. With that in mind, we can then ask, how is this business doing? And here are some financials that John Malone happens to be looking at. Again, we're going to zoom in on these financials so you can really see what's going on in this business. I'll caution you, they read from right to left, with the most recent year on the left. But as you look at this, take a look at what is happening. Top line, margin, and the different expense categories. Start at a very high level and see if you can develop a picture of what has been happening over the past 10 years at this company. Okay, now we can perhaps address John Malone's concern. What is it that has John so concerned? See if you can focus on that as we dig into this case. Also, for perspective, what strategy has Midwest been using? They've been pretty explicit about that. And what have they been emphasizing as part of that strategy? What we want to be able to do here next is give them some insight of what's going on in the business by allocating the cost of this warehousing, order entry, and delivery capacity. The goal here is to accurately establish the cost of an individual activity that's taking place in the company. By getting the cost of having that capacity in place assigned or allocated out to the activity that requires that investment in capacity. That's essentially time-based ABC. And we do that using the 4 steps of time-based ABC as proposed by Kaplan. So let's zoom in here so we can go through these 4 steps. First of all, we're going to assign the costs to the process. In this case, I'm using warehousing as an example. Step 2 is we calculate what Kaplan calls the practical capacity of processes. For example, what does the case come right out and tell us is the capacity of the warehousing process? Okay, if we've got the costs of the processes known and we've got the practical capacity known, then we can do some pretty simple math to get what's called the cost rate of supplying the capacity. Essentially, step 1 divided by step 2. And then Kaplan's 4th step is we can then assign costs to specific orders or products based on their use of that capacity. in this case with warehousing, we would be striving to assign the cost rate from step 3 to a particular carton that's cycling through the warehouse. So what we're going to do here on the website this week, as we discuss the case, is we're going to start with the warehouse process to receive and store a carton. Then we're going to look at some questions about the order entry process. What's the cost to enter an order? And then the distribution and shipping process. What's the cost to get the items to the customer? We're going to do that in the questions that will unfold during the week. So what we hope to come up with by the end of the week then is, given John Malone's concern, what's keeping him awake at night, having used these techniques of time-based ABC, what can we learn about this business, and then what recommendations can we make to John Malone to help Midwest Office Products improve their operations, prosper, and deliver the kind of returns that they should be. So let's have some fun with that. Watch for the questions unfolding during the week. See you online.